Antonio, welcome.
Thank you, Rudy.
It's good to have you here.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
We always wanted to have you on the show, and we're glad that you're able to make time, especially on short notice, to come and visit us.
Right. It was a pretty short notice, but I'm loving it. I love the idea to be here and share my story.
Oh, and your story is an amazing one. So let's start. You've been with St. Faustina for how many years now?
Well, I since the very beginning, I remember I was with my wife at Mass at Epiphany here in Katy, and Father Dad came and gave a little talk, and he mentioned that another parish was already authorized, and the name was going to be St. Faustina. And back then, we were studying her diary at that moment.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So it was
awesome.
Yeah, it was great. We felt the call right there, right at that moment, my wife and I. And I called Father Dad the very next day to ask him if I can, do anything for him. And he said, "Well, what do you know how to do?" And I said, "Well, I can sing." And I did join the choir immediately after that.
Nice. And then we saw each other.
That's right.
At the first practices, even before Mass started. Was it a month ahead of time, I think so?
That's right, yeah.
And you've been serving with the choir ever since.
Yes.
And even your kids.
Now my kids are serving, and it's just a blessing. It is a blessing. Yes, Vivian started with a children's choir. And later on, during the summers, Tony asked me if he can come and join the adult choir during his summers. And he started it like that. And now they're serving at 4:30 Mass. And it's just a blessing too.
When Tony joined the adult choir, I was like, oh, I got to step up my game a little here. This guy's good.
Yeah, he's been blessed with a gift, definitely. And we love music at home. And we love to worship and pray. So this is it is a huge blessing for my family.
Have you always been musically inclined, even since you were young?
Yes. I have never taken any formal music education, but I have always liked to sing. And I had a little band when I was in high school.
Did you play the guitar?
Yes, I do. No. I don't know. I mean, I don't know I don't know how to read music or anything like that, but I play by ear, and it was fun during those days singing. I sang with mariachi and.
Nice. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Monterrey, Mexico.
But you were born here in the U.S.
Yes,
right?
I was born in Chicago. It's a different story. Most people they were born there and they moved to the United States.
Yes.
Me, I was the opposite.
How did that happen?
My father. He was from Zacatecas, Mexico.
Okay.
And he joined the armed forces to become not a citizen, but a resident, a legal resident. And that's the reason he moved here he moved to Chicago. And my three older brothers and myself, we were born in Chicago, and then we moved to Monterrey, Mexico.
Okay.
And two of my little sisters were born there.
How old were you when you moved to Mexico?
When I moved to Mexico, I was, I think, 4 or 5 years old.
Oh, so you have no memory of Chicago, really?
I have a few memories, and then I went back, of course, during some summers, and I've been there, lately.
Our stories are pretty similar then, because my dad was in the Navy, stationed at Pearl Harbor. And then we moved to the Philippines, but I was much older when we moved to the Philippines. I was in high school at the time. So your high school you're talking about with the band and everything with your friends, that was in Mexico.
Yes, that was in Mexico. Yeah, and then later on, when I was in college, I did represent my school against nationwide against all the universities, and I won, and that was
nice.
It was great. And at that moment, actually, that's when I discovered the real gift that the finalists on that contest, they were like amazing singers. And me being me, I won, and I went to the judge and I said, why did I won? I mean, these two people are, amazing singers.
Yeah.
I'm just a mariachi. That's what I said. Not to put that the mariachis are bad singers or anything like that, but that was the expression that came out of my mouth. And they said, well, you're right. They're way better singers than you.
So why did you win?
The reason you won is because in order to become an artist, you have to make people feel what you're singing.
Oh.
So what you did tonight, it's that your interpretation was so good that you made us feel. And that's the gift that you have, and that's why you won.
So they might have been technically better than you, but you were able to build a connection with your audience.
Yes, and I had no idea about any of that. So that day, I discovered that I have something, that to tell stories in a different way with my voice. I realized that, yes, I don't have the best voice or anything like that, not even remotely close to that. But I had something. That's why I was always curious why people like when I sing. And I didn't know until then. And yes, that's how I found out about that gift.
How old were you at this time?
I was
college, you said, right?
Yeah, but I was probably 18 or 19 years old. And unfortunately, about that time, I was not singing for God at all.
It was just for the sake of making music.
Yes, it was just for fun.
Well, you were a teenager. A lot of teenagers, it's all about yourself.
Right. That's right.
Where did you go to college, if you don't mind me asking?
I went to college in Monterrey, Mexico. It's a university called Universidad del Norte.
Okay.
Yes, I study business administration.
And then when did you come to the United States?
Well,
Did you get married first?
No. I became a banker.
Okay.
I was working at the banking industry in Mexico.
Okay.
And when I was young, I got transferred to Hawaii, to Oahu. And I worked for Hawaii National Bank. And I had that beautiful experience to live in Aiea, Oahu, for something close to a year or something like that.
I totally forgot that we have that Hawaii connection.
We have that connection as well.
Yeah, you did mention it when I told you one of the first times that I grew up in Hawaii, that you were there. And what years were you in Hawaii?
If I'm not mistaken, it was 1990.
Okay.
1989, 1990, somewhere around there.
And how long were you in Hawaii?
I was there just for a year.
Okay.
Yes.
And then after Hawaii?
After Hawaii, I went back to Mexico.
Okay.
Work a little bit more than there. And then I moved to Dallas to work for a brokerage firm, financial brokerage firm. And then after that, I went back to Mexico. And then I moved to San Diego, to La Jolla, California.
You've been everywhere, huh?
Well, I've been some places because of my work.
Okay.
Yes. And that's when I got married, when I moved to La Jolla. Nancy, my wife, she's been my high school sweetheart. We've been together for so long. And by then, she was probably tired saying, you're not going anywhere else anymore by yourself. So we got married in both places. We got married in Monterrey, Mexico.
Okay.
And then we got married in San Diego.
You have a lot of family in San Diego?
No, I do not. We don't have family in San Diego. I was there studying and working.
Okay.
For the brokerage firm from Mexico. They opened a branch in California, in La Jolla.
So how did you make it to Houston from there?
From there, I went back to Mexico.
Okay.
And then we started doing some business here in Houston through that brokerage firm with a Nations Bank. It was the name, Nations Bank here in Houston.
Okay.
Downtown. And I started developing a lot of relationships here in Houston. And I ended up acquiring some real estate here in Houston.
Okay.
Earning commissions and things like that. Mm-hmm. And so probably 20 around 20 years ago, 21 years ago. Times were pretty difficult in my hometown.
Okay.
There was a lot of safety problems, a lot of issues with crime and things like that. So I wanted it to raise my family in a different environment. And I start asking where will be a nice place to raise my family. And they told me about Katy, Texas. They told me about Cinco Ranch. So I came here, gave a little tour. I fall in love, and I brought my family here. Back then, it was just Nancy, Tony, my oldest, and Andy, my second child.
So your choices were San Diego, Chicago, Dallas, and Houston, I suppose, the places that you've been a lot to, huh?
Yes, but when I came here to Katy, I did fall in love with the school system, the school district, and everything. It was like a dream for me to build up a family, to raise a family here. I went to public schools all my life. We didn't have music, we didn't have sports, we didn't have
all those
art.
programs. Yes,
none of those programs.
Yes.
And to me, that was like a dream to be able to raise my family in that environment,
in a place where not just academically. So I'm assuming that Mexico is probably a little similar to the way they do it in the Philippines that I've seen. Is just mostly academics. Is that the way it is?
In public schools, yes.
Yeah, they focus a lot on academics, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's all study.
Yes.
And not necessarily form you as a whole person with arts and music and all of that.
That is correct.
Yeah,
yes.
that's I've seen that in the Philippines as well. Very, very similar. Of course, it also a Spanish colony, Mexico, the Philippines.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of things in common. And then after that, my beautiful princess was born here, Vivian. We were blessed with her and our family. And so we made Katy, Texas our home.
How old were your boys when you moved here?
Tony was, he started first grade. So he was probably 5 or 6 years old. 6 years old.
Also, he was pretty much fluent in Spanish already at that age. Does he still carry it with him?
Yes. Yeah. At home, it was funny, but that's the way we did it since day one with the kids. Mom will talk to them in Spanish.
Okay.
And me in English, even when we were in Mexico.
Oh, really?
Yes. So, and up to today, we usually do it like that. So at the beginning, it was hard for them because they were going to school here. They come home, they need to tell all the story to mom
but they have
in
to tell it
Spanish.
in Spanish.
Then they need to turn around and tell it to me in English.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
They had to tell the same story twice.
Yes.
So did you like pretend that you didn't understand Spanish so they would have to do it, or you just?
No, I think it was just it came out automatically for them to be like that.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought it was like, okay, Dad doesn't understand. Say it again, even though you do understand.
Oh no, they know that I speak fluent Spanish. Actually, it's my language.
Do you recommend that, doing it that way to people?
Yeah, it worked with my kids. Mm-hmm. It worked. It definitely did work. So yes, that's how it happened back at home. So
even Vivian, who's the youngest and who was born and raised here, she's bilingual.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes, she speaks Spanish fluently, and that's all she speaks with. Talks with her mom.
Okay,
it's all in Spanish.
Now you said that you weren't really singing for God before,
right?
When did that start happening?
As I told you, we used to go to Epiphany.
Yes,
that was our church, and actually, that's the first time I saw you. You were the only male vocalist.
Yeah, I was suffering there. I got a bone to pick with you about that. I was there, and I was one of the few. There were a couple of guys that would come and go for a week or two whenever they were available, but you were in the congregation
every single Sunday.
And you were watching me suffer, weren't you?
Yes. And I remember my wife always asking me, why don't you join the choir? Because I was always singing at the pews, always. I love to sing, so I was always singing. And I said, okay. And do you remember every year they'll do the announcements and
Yes,
they say, okay,
yes.
come on and join the choir, register. I did register every year. I'm sorry. But I never joined.
You never showed up.
I never showed up. I don't know why. But with Saint Faustina.
Did you say this Rudy guy, he's not, he's a shady character, I don't want to sing beside him? Or
I was waiting for you to sing the psalm, but it never happened.
Well, I told Father Jack at Epiphany, I said, when the Texans make it to the Super Bowl, that Sunday afternoon, I'll sing the psalm. Well, no, it wasn't Father Jack. It was JM. I told JM that. Well, the Texans never made it to the Super Bowl.
Right.
Because if anybody knows anything about Texas and football, during the Super Bowl, the what time was the Mass? 4:30? The 4:30 Mass was almost empty.
Right.
During the Super Bowl.
Right.
You watch me something. I really have a bone to pick with you about that one.
So for some reason, not knowing, I felt the call when Father Dad was, making the announcement about this new parish. We have never been part of a startup church, and when he mentioned, "What can you do for us?" and I said, "I think I can sing." And never sing in English in the past. So I said, okay. So in a way, I think I felt the call. And before I knew, I was at Sally's house, Sally and Pete. That's where we used to do the rehearsals. And then I became part of this beautiful community, beautiful family, our choir family.
So you had never sang in English? It was
Never.
Always Spanish?
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes, and it was a great experience. Start doing it every Sunday, and the way it started developing, and it was beautiful. And then I vividly remember one Sunday, Dottie asked me to do a solo on "Lord, I Need You."
Yes.
And I said, okay. So I did it. And when Mass was over, this young lady who was crying came up to me and she said, thank you. Thank you. You just don't know what you just did for me.
Oh.
And I was thinking, you're right. I have no idea what did I just did for you. Of course, I didn't say it. That was in my mind, thinking, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Then later I start making that connection of, maybe I was using that gift that I was told before with the Word of God. And that's when I start falling in love with this, like deeply, like, okay, so I can use my gift here. I can actually do it and use it for the one who gave it to me. That's exactly the moment it did a click, because the past, it was different. I used it for different purposes.
But you grew up Catholic.
Oh yes, very Catholic actually. Yeah, we my mom still lives there. Our house was a block away from the parish.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was funny the way I grew up being a very strong Catholic, because my mom was, very Catholic, always in prayer, going to church. My father didn't want to go to church. But,
really?
Yes, but he said, every Sunday, I'm not going to give you your allowance until you come back from church and you tell me the gospel.
Wow.
And the readings.
But he didn't go himself.
He didn't go.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It is. So I was probably, I don't know, what can I tell you, 4, 5, 6 years old. And I was paying attention like closely.
Taking notes and everything.
I want my allowance, right? But it was beautiful because it did develop this, this desire to learn more,
Mm-hmm.
and I became to know the ceremony, the mass, very well, and I enjoyed it a lot since I was very little.
Why do you think your dad didn't go?
I don't know.
Do you think he felt guilty about something, perhaps? Or
No,
not worthy?
I don't know. I think his family was not. They were Catholic, but they never, practice it. Probably he was never told, or he was never taught, or anything like that. But he knew it was something that we needed,
Okay.
so he encouraged it, and not in that way.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. That's very unusual.
very unusual, but the formula did work. It definitely did.
Did you do that with your kids? Withhold their allowance until they could tell you what the homily was?
No. No, but I took them to mass every Sunday, and sometimes even if they didn't want to, it was just, we have to do this, and that's the parts that now we need to learn, that we need to have different communication. Now I've been taught by them. Now I'm getting the feedback. Now they're in their 20s. Now they're telling me, you know what? When I was growing up, sometimes I felt forced.
Oh, wow.
But we were feeding the seed. We were just planting the seed. And
sometimes you do have to make your kids, because if you let your kids do whatever they want, there's no way they're going to walk into a church.
And as you know, as a parent, I mean, you only do what you can do with your own tools. I mean, they don't come with instructions. Yeah. And you just do what the best you can. But I realized definitely, this is for sure, that being close to God, it makes everything way better. Not easier, but better. Way better.
And, all kids are different. One approach might work with one child and just be disastrous with another one.
Absolutely true. Yes.
So going back to the choir.
Yes.
The thing I remember distinctly about the choir, and one of the first practices that we had, was how much talent was in the room when we first started out.
Yes.
At Epiphany, I was struggling. I was the only guy there at that one particular mass some Sundays. Now I'm looking at a whole room filled with several basses, several tenors, and you were one of those. You were one of those guys. What were you feeling at that point when it all started?
It was a great experience, and it was at the same time a little. I love challenges. I mean, I do. I mean, being in a room with all these talented people singing in their own language, I didn't even know what the different voices, and I didn't even know. I don't read music.
And they put the sheet music in front of you.
Yeah, they put the sheet music in front of me, and I'm like, okay, this is great. I had no idea, but it was.
You weren't the only one.
But it was great. It was beautiful the way everything started to blend.
Yes,
in a very celestial way. It was just beautiful. It was beautiful.
And then we started, those first few weeks, we were doing 2 or 3 masses a weekend.
Yes.
Because we were the only choir. There was only one choir at the time.
Right.
And then the Spanish choir came along.
Yes.
You weren't going to join them too?
No. I was invited once. I never was invited to join them. And I was already too attached to the adult English choir. It was my family, and I was like very attached to you all guys. I was like, I'm not going anywhere.
You'd found a groove already.
Oh, yes. I found a community, a family, a group that I really enjoyed. And, but the first time I got invited to do something with the Spanish choir was that they were going to celebrate the Serenata por la Virgen de Guadalupe.
Okay.
Yeah, for the Virgin of Guadalupe, they were going to do a serenata. So they called me and they say they want me to go and sing one song with them. And I went to practice. And yes, there was a lot of talented people and all of the above. And I did it. I went to the serenata. It was an amazing experience, beautiful, and that was it. Obviously, they asked me, "Why don't you join us?" Right? And I said what I just said to you, that of course I would love to, but I already found my family. I'm very attached to them, and I like them. I would love to serve with them, as much as possible. But I belong to the adult English choir.
Now, there's a song that you sing Holy Week, almost every year.
Yes.
And it's an amazingly moving song. I looked up the translation of the lyrics, but I don't think a lot of people looked up. And what's the title of this song that you sing at Mass?
Si hubiera estado allí.
And what does that mean?
If I were there.
And what are the lyrics of the song? What does it mean?
The lyrics of the song talks about talking about the passion of Christ.
Okay.
Like when he's in the cross, and when he's getting being nailed to the cross, and all this suffering that he's going through, and the song talks about you being there.
Okay.
And about you being one of the guys who did that to him.
Wow.
Yes, because of your sins.
So one of those who was whipping him,
it was
one of those.
It was me that I'm singing, or you that you're listening to.
And if I'm not mistaken, one of the lines is something like, "I would have been one of that spat on you."
Yes.
Wow.
Even all the way up to that. Yeah, because the way we sin, because the way we don't recognize what he did for us.
Because when you sang that the first time, I was looking into the congregation. There were tears flowing, and I said, I got to take a look at the lyrics of this song. What does it mean?
Being honest to you, it's very difficult to sing that song because it's hard to hold that I want to cry.
Yeah, you get choked up.
Yes, and it's very emotional. I do get so into the songs. I'm living the songs every time I sing. And this one, it's very difficult because what it says, of course, I feel bad. It hurts me that what I do when I sin.
And then you put that into song.
Yeah,
it's in your native language.
Yes,
and all of that just comes out when you're singing it. Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, right now, just by talking to you, I start sweating.
It's emotionally great. Yes. I'm tearing up right now thinking about the lyrics of the song. It's amazing.
It's amazing song. And if you look at it on the web, they even showing it with a video clip of the movie Passion of Christ.
Yes, that's the one that I saw.
And it's just, it's very powerful.
And what's the title again?
Si hubiera estado allí.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that, because every year you sing it, and I think people have to look at the lyrics of this if they don't understand Spanish, because it's amazing.
Yes, it is
amazing that the lyrics of this song. Now, your wife and your kids, you got 2 boys and a daughter. Do all 3 of them serve at Mass? Do all 3 of them sing? Did they all take after their dad in terms of musical ability?
Well, one day I had the blessing from God, and one day I bought a piano, and I just put it in a room, and I made a music room at home, and I said, "You all going to learn how to play piano, and you all going to sing here with us." And by then, 2 of them were already on a little musical because they were on band. In school. Okay.
And which 2 are these?
Tony was playing the saxophone, the alto saxophone.
Okay.
And Andy, he was playing the bass clarinet.
Okay.
Yes. And Vivian, she's been in choir since, I don't know, for years, since she was very little. And she was always sitting with me and piano with the guitar. And she's always very, you can see in her eyes, and she was a little baby when music was playing or singing by us. She was like paying a lot of attention. You can see her emotions.
Especially with the older brothers.
Right. So the three of them are musical, but only two of them serve in church.
Okay.
Yes. Andy lives in California. He's a student at Stanford University. He's taking his master's there. And hopefully he'll start his PhD this coming fall.
He seems like the more quiet type of the three.
Yes, he's very quiet. He's
a little more reserved.
He's very reserved.
Shy, I guess. Is that why he doesn't serve? Because he's a little more shy?
Yes, definitely. He will come to Mass when he's here because he's been, I mean, he attend UT for his college. So he's been away for years. So whenever he comes to Mass. But yeah, he's very quiet.
So his music ability is just for
himself. Yes, he plays ukulele, he plays the clarinet, he plays a little bit of piano, and we made him sing when he's in Mexico. He has to sing with the mariachi.
Oh, really?
So we like it.
So he was with the mariachis as well.
Yes.
Was Tony your eldest also?
Yes. I mean, it's a tradition for us. We love that music. So every time we go there, we take the opportunity to bring serenata to Nancy or to my daughter, and we sing with the mariachi.
Is that how you wooed your wife?
Oh, yes. That's how I convince her. For everybody who asks, how did he convince her? It was through my music. Definitely.
Now, you and I have the opposite experience. I tried to sing to my wife, and before I would sing to my wife, and girls would be like, oh, you sing. I would sing to girls, and they'd be like, oh, he sings really well. Sang to my wife, and she's like, yeah, that song's not right for you. You're a little out of tune there, a little flat.
Your wife is very talented, and the combination of you and your wife, your son, is just an amazing young singer.
Oh, yes. I was just trying to think about when you were talking about, teaching your kids to sing. My son was completely different. We tried to push him with instruments. He did it in his own time. So you put a piano in your room and your kids just got it, right?
Yeah, they got it. They started playing. And I remember with Tony, obviously the oldest, very talented, very musical.
He's, fantastic musician.
He has a musical brain, and he always thinks like that to fit in the spot, and he's very gifted. And I remember when he was a teenager, he used to come down and at home and say, Dad, listen to this. And he starts singing, and I'm like, yeah, it sounds good. And he's like, it only sounds good. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's because you sound like this and this person. And no, you can sound better than that. Find your own voice.
Sound like you.
And then he will go back so disappointed. But now he understands what I was talking about. He and the most beautiful part is how and for who he uses his gift.
Yes.
He uses it only for God. And that it's just a blessing for his mom and for myself. It's just beautiful.
And he is really good. I have to say, like how I say my son is much better than I am. Like, I have to say he's
by far. No, I'm not even. I'm not even on the field. He's like, he's really good. Again, it's a blessing, and it's a blessing that he understands that it's a gift from God. He's very humble in that sense, and then he gives everything back to him.
When did you realize that he was better than you?
Since those moments when he was coming downstairs and start telling me, "Oh, listen to this," and it was different. You can tell immediately that it was different. It was like a recording voice, and it was so full. Every note, it was completely full. I don't know how to explain it. As I said, I don't know too much about music, but I could tell the difference in my ear. That's the only thing I have. I have a musical ear, and I could tell, like, this is it. This is my dream. is going to be way better than me. This is it. This is great. Because again, he has the ability to interpret the song, but he completes that with an amazing voice and all these ranges that he uses. And it's beautiful. It is mostly the same case with Vivian. Vivian can, she's been in choirs for years, and she has this amazing ability to harmonize mostly anything. And because obviously they're brothers, they're siblings, and same genes and all, so that's why the sound that comes from them, it's unique.
Yes, and I guess it's because they're related. The voices just blend really well together.
Yes.
Now, I notice you're wearing your Axe shirt.
Oh, yes.
The same Faustina Axe shirt, and you also have your Fishers of Men bracelet.
Right here.
There you go. What year did we do Axe together?
We did it in 2017.
2017. That was the first Axe retreat here at St. Faustina.
Correct.
Did you jump at the opportunity when you heard about it, or did somebody pressure you?
Somebody pressured me.
Who was it?
It was Jose.
Jose
Sosa. He pressured me all the way probably to the boss. I mean, I'm only up to the end. I was going through a very, very bad economic situation in my life. Terribly financial hardship. I was so desperate. And the last thing in my mind, according to my old way of thinking, was going into a retreat. I needed to solve my problem myself.
Your financial problems.
Yes, my financial problem myself. So I'm like, what am I going to go to a retreat? How am I going to abandon this situation for 4 days? That is impossible. I'm not doing it. So
you've got more important things to worry about.
Exactly. So he pushed me hard again all the way to the boss. I am riding the boss to the retreat, and I'm thinking to myself, what am I doing here? So I'm already in denial. I'm already in a bad attitude, saying, I don't understand why I was so nice to this guy, and I say yes. I have better things to do. I shouldn't come here. I shouldn't be in this boss. And I was just the whole way there. I will never forget that, because I was very, very mad at myself for
really
that. Yeah,
for getting on the bus and going to a retreat.
Yes,
you felt like you were leaving your financial responsibility to your family behind.
Correct.
Wow, you felt like you were not being a good father.
Good anything. I was like, this is wrong. This is a mistake. I shouldn't have done this. And at the minute I walk down from that bus, I start listening. I start hearing my name everywhere. I'm like, I don't know these people, but they knew me. They're like, hey, Antonio. I'm like, oh, hey, hi. I don't know who you are, but hi.
They saw you singing at Mass.
Yes. And hi. And how wrong I was. Because this is a life changer. It was a life changer to me. This retreat prepared me for whatever was coming into my life. This huge train was coming full force against my life. I didn't even know, and I wasn't prepared.
And you already thought that the financial hardship you were going through was the train.
I thought that was the train, and I was so wrong.
And there was something else coming.
That was just a little tiny thing coming to me.
If you don't mind sharing the background of the financial hardship that you had to go through, was it tied in with the industry here in Houston?
Yes. As I mentioned before, when I first moved here, I had some real estate. I have some industrial warehouses near the airport. And I also opened a consultant firm for oil and gas companies from Mexico. Because of my financial background, I was able to locate financing to buy equipment to drill. most of this equipment and most of this business was going for my Mexican clients to serve Pemex in Mexico.
Okay. What's Pemex?
Pemex is the biggest oil company in my country.
Okay.
Yeah. And things went wrong, bad decisions, bad calls, very bad investments on my side.
Uh-huh.
I was always a consultant, and then one day I tried to pretend to be an investor as well.
Okay.
Take some risks, and the market came down and hit me dramatically, and it took everything from me.
Really?
All my wealth, yeah, everything.
Wow.
Yeah, my business, my house, that piano that I told you, everything.
Wow.
Yeah, from one day to the next. Well, it was obviously step by step, but yeah, I lost everything. I lost absolutely everything.
So you had to declare bankruptcy.
Yes, I did.
And in the middle of all this,
here
comes Jose.
Here comes Jose, and he said, "I need you to sing at this retreat." I'm like, I don't have the money to go to that retreat. I don't have the time. And
it's not high on your list of priorities at that moment.
I was thinking that the only good thing I was doing, I kept on singing every Sunday.
Uh-huh.
I kept on serving, even though I was going through all this. It was like the only thing was fitting my soul, because I was lost. I was so desperate, trying to. I remember I used to wake up every morning saying, "I'm going to solve my problem today," but me.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Without any help from anyone else.
And yeah, I prayed and I go to church, I serve and all of that. But here I am thinking, I am going to fix my problem myself. And so yeah, everything went really, really bad. All of this is happening when I have 2 kids in college.
So you went bankrupt while your kids were in college?
Yes.
And another one on the way?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And then I lose everything, cars, houses, all my wealth. Everything went well. Everything went south. Everything completely.
And then you went into the retreat.
I go into the retreat. Again, I felt good at the moment I stepped down from that bus. I felt the warmth of all the community of St. Faustina immediately. Mm-hmm. Not because they were saying my name, the way they were saying it. They were already feeling some connection with me that I didn't even know exist. And that immediately made me feel like someone was hugging me. Mm-hmm. And it felt good. I felt like, okay, this is a good start. And then the retreat it was, as I said, it was a life changer, a completely life changer. And I didn't know it was preparing me for something way bigger than my financial hardship. That seriously, it was nothing compared with what happened to me. The retreat, it's an amazing experience. I highly recommend it for. I mean, you were there.
Yeah. Oh,
it was just fantastic. The community, the bond that you develop there with your fellowship parishioners, it doesn't get any better than that. I have to be honest that I have never called anybody brother in my life. Yeah. That are not my blood brothers. I'm gonna go further than that. I confess that I even felt like I didn't like it when someone will call me brother if they were not my brothers. I never until I found the basis, the why.
In the Acts retreat.
And I found it at the Acts retreat.
One thing I really loved about the Acts retreat is that you are there with other men and you realize, wow, I'm not the only one going through all of this stuff. I'm not the only one that feels this way. And you're there and it's not like, okay, we're all perfect people. No, it's not.
That's right. Yeah,
You're going through something similar and you don't feel alone.
that is correct. That connection is just amazing. It puts everything in perspective. Everything, and the talks, the adoration, the conversations with some of the fellow, including you. I remember having conversations with you very early in the morning, and with Deacon Randy, who I love to death. I mean, he's an amazing person. I remember he said, I think at the end he said, "I am your deacon to every single one of us."
Mm-hmm.
And he has been my deacon. And I always call him my favorite deacon in the whole world. and we all laugh about that. And so all of a sudden, I am part of this beautiful, strong community.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I'm a member of Saint Faustina, and it's a beautiful community. My family, my choir family, is my family. It's beautiful. But then all of a sudden, I have this very strong bond with my fellow parishioners from Saint Faustina.
Because these are faces that you see at church all the time, but you don't know them.
I didn't know them. They knew me. I mean, they knew my face, and they knew that I sang, and they made me feel, going back to that gift, that I was part of something that I gave to them. And I didn't know all this circle, all this connection. I didn't have any idea the way it worked.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was beautiful. And now I was feeling the need to call them brothers because I see them like that. Uh-huh. So it was an amazing experience, and it was definitely a life changer for me.
Were you like me? You were, because I was a little weirded out with guys hugging each other. But then after the retreat, that was it. Was that for you?
No, I mean, no. We're Latin people. We're like,
okay,
we're huggers and kissers, and no, we're very affectionate. Yeah, actually, it's been pretty hard with the pandemic. It's been pretty tough. But
maybe it's my Asian side that's a little standoffish when it comes to that. But then after the retreat,
after the retreat was just again. I came back home feeling completely different. I remember at the end of the retreat saying something that I felt like I was looking at everybody with a new set of eyes. And I didn't say it in the sense of, I feel like I'm a new man. No, I felt like I'm looking things in a different way. I'm inside of me with new like window glasses and looking something completely different.
Now you got off of that bus and your problems are still the same.
Yes.
You still have the same financial hardships. Your kids are still in college. You have no idea how you're going to put them through college. What was going through your mind?
Again, I felt like, okay, let's do it. Now, focus. Let's try to do whatever you can and let God run your life. Let's do it like that. So I continuing doing things that were developing very slowly, but it allowed me to survive, if you can put it that way. I went through a lot of legal battles and a lot of things in order to pay all the people that I owe the money and things like that. And during that year, again, it was very painful, but I had a different connection with God and with my church. It was different. And it was like I was feeling stronger inside of me.
Okay.
But the problems were getting bigger and bigger and bigger up to a moment that I didn't even know what I was going to do.
How different would it have been if you had not gone to the retreat?
I don't even want to think about it because I don't know. I have no idea how would I will reacted to what was coming to me if I didn't go to their retreat and were prepared in my spirit to affront to this problem that was coming to me. In 2018, I was on a business trip. Let me back up a little bit. I've been very healthy all my life.
Yes.
Hardly got any colds or flus or anything. I've been very blessed with a good health.
Yes.
Never had any surgery. Absolutely nothing. No broken bones, no nothing. And I played football and I played basketball and I play a lot of things and nothing happened to me. Thank God. 2018, I was on a business trip in Louisiana, and I started feeling different, weird, like I couldn't breathe. To make a long story short, I got a heart attack, and I ended up in a hospital. And all I was thinking is, I want whoever doctor to come here, give me a shot. So I can go back to my hotel, take a shower, and go back and take care of business.
Get back to work.
Get back to work because I was doing something that it was going to get me through the next 3 months of all the payments.
Okay.
And that shipment, it was so important to me that I was so wrong that at that moment it was more important that in all honesty, than my own life, I wasn't even paying attention to the other side. So it didn't happen exactly like that, but it did. I mean, the doctor came, they gave me some shots, and then he said, "There's something very wrong with you. We need to run some tests on your heart."
And you've not had any heart issues before that?
No.
Okay.
And I'm in the middle of nowhere. I'm in this little tiny town in Louisiana near the coast.
And you're not even near home. So.
No. And I'm like, I'm not staying here. I'm not, forget it. Thank you though. Can you just do something for me so I can leave the hospital?
And get back to work.
He's like, I am going to do it. You're going to sign a release, but please promise me. Do something for yourself. At the moment you get back to Houston, go to the doctor. And I did. So I went, did what I just told you, finished my deal.
Wow.
Came home.
Okay.
And when I come home, I took a shower. I noticed this huge bruise in my stomach. Like big bruise. Yes, because he shot me straight in my stomach. And then, and I said, okay, I don't have a way out but telling my wife what happened because I didn't tell her anything.
So she had no idea that the doctor told you need to get looked at right away.
I was so wrong. I was just thinking I can solve all of this by myself. See, that's the problem with stubbornness, that you fight with that stubbornness most of your life. Thinking that you're God, thinking that you can take his position. How wrong I was.
Wow.
So I come back. Of course, I tell my wife. Of course, she's like, what are you doing? So we go to the doctor. The doctor says, we're gonna run some tests to you. Of course, I don't have insurance.
Yeah, because you're still going through financial hardship. You're bankrupt and everything.
I mean, again, the deal that I had made, it was just to survive the following 3 months.
Okay.
And so no insurance. The doctor said, we have to run this test. There is definitely something strange. I cannot tell you exactly what it is. They run some tests. During this time, I called the Saint Faustina, and I told Father that if he can anoint me, because I felt like something was wrong, and he did. And I felt protected. At that moment, I felt protected immediately. So things start getting really bad in my system. I mean, forget about the results of the test or whatever. I start like going down dramatically.
So your body, you started feeling it deteriorate somehow.
dramatically fast.
Okay.
Like fast. Like I have problems walking. I have problems talking. And it was getting like really bad, really scary.
And where were you at this point?
At home.
Okay.
Yeah. At the other place that we rent because we didn't have a house.
Okay.
So I was going through all of this, and then the doctor called me, and he said, "You have a very serious, very very serious situation. You have what is called a aneurysm in your aorta." He says, "Normal. We all have aneurysms. Normal people will have an aneurysm of 2 centimeters."
Okay.
And when it grows to 5 centimeters, you are a candidate for surgery.
Okay.
Yours are 7 centimeters. We have no idea how you are walking. I mean, you basically a dead person.
So you're supposed to be dead at this
They
point.
only seen that on corpse. And then I said, okay. And I told him, I don't have insurance. This is this is a big operation, and it can be conducted only by certain specialists because it's open heart. They need to remove your aorta, reconstruct it, put in a mechanical valve in it.
Okay.
And anyways, something like really, really big. And of course, if you don't have insurance, that's a no-no.
Yeah, that's
How would you do something like that, right? So I called some friends, some doctors, and then they told me how to maneuver this, and I did it. And my health was deteriorating, like almost to the end. I clearly remember one day I'm at the living room in my house. And of course, all my kids are there already. I already called everybody. I called Tony. I called Andy, because both of them, one was in College Station, the other one was in Austin. I told them, you need to come home. There's something wrong with me. I'm going to get, an operation. So you guys come home. So everybody's there. And I'm at the living room. I can barely talk or walk. And I felt, this is the very first time I felt that I was going to die right at that moment. I felt like a little tiny oxygen inside of me. We were getting ready to go to the hospital.
Okay, so this was after the doctor called you up.
Correct. The doctor called me the night before, and this is the next day.
Okay.
And I'm sitting in the living room, and I asked God. I said, please, just help me get to the hospital. I don't want to die. I knew I was gonna die, but I don't want to die here in the living room in front of my kids. I don't want to make this more dramatic than it already is.
Okay.
Please, just allow me that. Let me get to the hospital. That's all I want. And he did it. He allowed me to move and go to the hospital. So we walk into emergency room at Memorial Hermann in downtown, not downtown, the medical center.
Okay.
Well, my symptoms, obviously, they admitted me like in 1 second. I was a dead person. Then all of a sudden, this surgeon comes. I forgot one part. The CD with the results of the test that they run to find out about the size of the aneurysm. Nancy very wisely took them to that specialist that morning.
Okay.
Took the CD. By doing that, I'm already legally, officially his patient, even if he doesn't know me, just by admitting that CD.
Okay.
It was part of the advices that my friends told me. So now I'm an emergency with all the symptoms. Obviously, who's your doctor? I said the name of this doctor. They called him, and he shows up. And this guy has a number one team in the nation for this specific type of operations.
Okay.
And it's funny, he walks in and he's like, oh, this is the guy with the extra large aneurysm.
Yes.
He said it like that. I think it was funny. And then he's like, okay, well, did you already run this test? He's talking to the emergency doctor. Yes. And he's saying, yes, check. So the guy said, don't worry, you're in good hands. We're going to give you a room. Mm-hmm. I'm going to perform surgery on you in 2 days.
Okay.
Everything is going to be okay. Don't worry about it. I do this every day. In 2 weeks, you'll be out of here. No problem. It's going to be okay. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I can clearly hear my family going, my poor kids were next to me and my wife, and they were like all worried, like not knowing what was going to happen. And then they're listening to this doctor saying all these great things. I mean, great things, according to this situation they were living.
Yes.
And then he said, where is the result of his scan? And the doctor said, we haven't done that. And he looked at me. He's like, don't worry. They're going to run a scan on you.
Okay.
And then I'll see you in your room in 2 hours and we'll go over your surgery. Because surgery, and I'm like, what surgery? I don't even know what they were going to do to me. I didn't know anything.
Because they were talking their doctor speak. And you were just there not understanding what they were saying.
I only knew I had something in my aorta and that it caused me a heart attack.
Okay.
That's all I knew. Something that needs to be removed.
Okay.
That's all I knew. So my family goes to a waiting room. They take me to run that test, that scan.
Yes.
And it's one of those machines that you go in and there's a person in the cabin.
Yes.
And then he starts talking to you and all this and that. I don't know what he saw, that this guy ran out of the cabin.
He ran
out of the cabin. I started listening to a lot of people talking and moving. And I'm like, this is not good, definitely. I mean, the words of the doctor make me feel good for a moment. But physically, I was feeling that I was on extra time.
Okay. So you were lying there in the machine.
Yeah.
And the guy running the machine stands up and runs out of the room.
Yes.
And starts talking to people right away.
Yes.
Did you hear that they were frantic in their voices?
Yes. And then they pulled me out of the tube.
Okay.
Put me on a bed and they start running to the surgery room. I didn't know I was going to the surgery room.
So like in the movies, you're running down the hall.
They're running down the hall, take me to this place. And then before I know this, they're shaving my chest. And I'm like, what's going on? So the same doctor shows up and he said, you have 17 dissections on your aorta. You can die here in front of me.
17.
We need to operate you like right now. That's what's going to happen. Unfortunately, everything that I told you downstairs is not going to work like that. Now, the chances of survival have changed.
Wow.
We don't know. We actually don't know how you were able to walk into this hospital.
Because you didn't come via ambulance. You just hopped into your car and your family drove you there.
Yes. And we don't know if you're going to survive. But if you do, you're going to have to, you're going to need therapy when you wake up. You're probably going to wake up in a couple of weeks. And you're going to wake up and you're going to need therapy to walk again. And to talk.
Wow.
Because we're going to have to disconnect everything and put you on a bypass. This is very serious. And I want to, and at this moment, when he was saying this, I looked away and I started saying, God, where are you? Where are you? And he immediately responded to me.
How?
this is the funny part also. My communication with God until that moment has been in Spanish. I always pray in Spanish. I always talk to him in Spanish. And at this moment, he replies in English and he says, everything is going to be okay. And then I'm quiet and he's like, everything is going to be okay.
You heard this?
Yes. I didn't see him. I heard this. Of course, my human side kicks in and my brain is telling me, you're imagining this.
You're hallucinating.
You're imagining it. I mean, this is your system saying, hey, everything's going to be okay. And then the voice says, you're going to keep on singing for me down here.
Wow.
And then at that specific moment, I knew it was me. So I looked up. Now I look back to the doctor. The doctor was
still talking.
Still talking, saying probably more, bad news. And then I said, everything is going to be okay. And the doctor stopped and he smiled and he looked at his team and he said, see, this is the attitude. He has the right attitude. But I can tell in his face that he probably is thinking he doesn't know what he's saying. He has no idea. Right? Yeah. He has no idea what he's going to go through. And then he said, well, that's great. I need to bring your wife to talk to you. I said, no, please don't tell her anything. Don't leave them with the good news that you told them downstairs.
Wow.
Let's see. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to see you.
So this was such a rush thing. It was such an alarming thing that they saw in your scan that they ran you in there and they just started working on you without even telling your family yet.
Correct.
Wow.
The anesthesiologist came and he said, are you sure you don't want to talk to your wife? And I said, I am sure. And I told him, I blinked and I said, I'm going to see you soon. I was so convinced. This is not a macho thing or anything like that. I wasn't afraid at all. That moment of panic that it was for a few seconds, because remember, I was in my mind, I was already dead since the living room at my home. I was already dead.
That morning.
I was dead. When God told me everything is going to be okay, you're going to keep on singing for me down here. I took that, I was convinced. I didn't need anything else. I said, let's go. Let's do it. So I was on surgery for 10 hours.
Okay.
My family was told that I was going to be in surgery for 2-3 hours because they only knew the good news.
Yeah.
So they're like, what's going on in the waiting room? Like,
why is it taking so long?
Yeah. Why is it taking so long? Of course, my wife, there was no time to call anybody. All my family lives in Mexico. They call, I have 2 brothers who live here. One lives in Houston. The other one lives in Rockport. And she called them. And of course, they called my family in Mexico. So everybody's flying here or driving here. But no one is there with my wife. Guess who's there with my wife? Some of my brothers from Acts with their wives. Sitting with my family, praying with my family. This is in the middle of the night. I went into surgery at 5 p.m. All of a sudden, people start showing at the waiting room. And my wife is like, what are you doing here in there? We just came here to pray. They're praying there with my kids and with her. They're like extremely worried. What happened?
Yeah.
Somewhere around 3 a.m, doctor comes out and tell my wife everything.
Because at this point she had no idea what was going on.
No. He tells her everything. He said, somehow everything worked out.
Wow.
He had a big mass inside. We reconstruct his aorta. He has now a mechanical valve. I did fix 2 other arteries. That's why he couldn't walk, because there were 2 flat arteries on downside. And but now they're closing him, and now let's see what happens. Let's see if it works. We don't know what's going to happen.
Wow.
But I feel, he said, but I feel, he said positive, or I feel confident, something like that, he said. And my wife just grabbed that single word and said, okay, we're positive, we're confident. Everybody's praying the rosary. Back to back, praying the rosary at the waiting room. They take me to ICU at 5:30 in the morning. Of course, I don't know anything, obviously. And at that moment, there's another problem with me. I need to have a transfusion, and apparently they couldn't find my blood. They put some other blood, and there was a problem right there.
Oh no, they gave you the wrong blood type?
So probably another blood type that they thought was going to be compatible or something.
Okay.
And it did, but at the beginning it was a problem. And all this horrible scene, like in the movies, that doctors and nurses running into the room.
Yes.
It's in front of Nancy.
Oh no, she saw the whole
by
thing.
herself, right there, looking at all of this. She tells me a beautiful story that she sat and she was with this indescribable calm, because she felt that the Virgin Mary was on one side, and another saint that is called Conchita. There's a beata in Mexico.
Okay.
She was on the other side of her, and she was praying rosary back to back, back to back,
and she felt their presence.
Yeah. So I reacted. I got stabilized, and everything was fine. Later, they said that I was going to. They didn't know when I was going to wake up. Right. I woke up at noon
that day. Wow. And they thought that it was going to be a week or so.
They didn't know. They probably a week or 2 weeks or whatever. So at noon, I opened my eyes. The first thing I saw was Tony and my wife Nancy, and they're both laughing. And I'm thinking, what they could possibly be laughing about? And they were laughing. Later, they told me, because obviously they were told that I was going to wake up in 2 weeks.
Yes.
And I was going to need therapy to move. And,
yes.
And I'm 6'2". I was kicking the bed because I didn't fit well in the bed. So I started kicking the bed hard, and then I woke up.
Oh, so they could feel you waking up because you were kicking the bed.
Yes. So that's why they were laughing of happiness, saying, this is a beautiful miracle. So I woke up, and I wanted it to start, start giving commands or orders to my kids and saying, hey, what are you doing here? Or this and that, or hand me this. But I couldn't because I had the tube.
Oh, down your throat.
Yes. So it was impossible to talk, obviously. So being me, I request a paper and a pen, and I start writing.
Okay.
I start writing, I want this, and what are these people doing here, and this and that. And so it was a beautiful experience, waking up, being able to do everything. And now that was the way back, right? Way back from that opportunity, that blessing that God gave me. Said, okay, I am going to give you another chance. This is me thinking.
Okay.
I'm going to give you another chance, but you're going to have to do your part now.
Okay.
This is not easy. This is not like, I'm going to touch it with something and it's given.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to do your part. You're going to have to trust me. See, I gave you your life back. You're going to have to trust me. And it's going to be tough, the recuperation from this. But I did build you in a certain way, physically and mentally. You can do this. You can do this by my hand, but you're going to have to do your part. So I'm telling you that it was pretty tough.
How long was the recovery till you felt normal?
A year probably, or 8 months. I spent 2 weeks in ICU. One week in ICU and the other week in a normal room, I guess, or a few days in a normal room.
Okay.
Then I went home, and I remember coming home, going to my bathroom, looking at myself in the mirror, and I start crying. I'm like, what happened to me? I lost like 40 pounds. And
it looked like more than that when I saw you. I'll tell you that.
It was terrible. And of course, I had a open chest, never been in a surgery. You need assistance for everything. And so it's a big challenge, but I knew, I mean, with the conviction that he gave me, I'm like, okay, I know now I know why I was raised the way I was raised. Now I know why I was built the way I was built. So now is my time to do my part, right? What am I going to do with this blessing? I am going to fight for it. 3 months later, I'm singing at the retreat, of Acts retreat. I'm singing with you at the Acts retreat 3 months later after my surgery.
And this is one of the other retreats after the one that we went on.
That's the second, the following year. Yeah. So why I did this? Well, first of all, we were working on the music ministry. We were working towards this retreat, and then this happened to me. And beautifully, I was told that everybody knows that I love that song, Lord, I Need You.
Yes.
Everybody knows that I sing it like I am in front of him when I'm singing it.
Yes.
And so beautifully, the music group, the music ministry, they decided to pick this song as the theme song of that retreat, knowing that I'm in the hospital. And I didn't know any of this. To me, it was so beautiful and a great motivation that I said, I have to serve. This is the part that I'm saying, I gotta do my part.
And you're only 3 months into your recovery.
Yes.
And you said it was a year before you actually felt normal.
Yes. So during the surgery, up to those 3 months, it was a rain of blessings coming from all the parishioners from St. Faustina, all my brothers and sisters from my music ministry, bringing food, sending notes, going to the hospital. You were at the hospital with your wife and with the group, with the music group. It was beautiful. All my brothers and sisters from Acts, all my brothers and sisters from the healing ministry. It was just amazing feeling the hug of all that community saying, don't worry, Antonio, let's go. Do your part.
Yeah.
We'll take care of you. It's beautiful, fantastic, amazing. So I go to the retreat looking probably like a dead person, and everybody's telling me, what happened to you? People that didn't know. And this is, I think you remember, I couldn't even talk clearly. My voice, it was because of the tube. You got your voice, your cords get affected.
It takes a while before it can recover. Yeah.
Correct. So again, another blessing. Right at the retreat, my voice comes back.
Wow.
I start singing.
Wow.
Started singing like the day before the surgery. It was beautiful, a beautiful manifestation. And like you told me before when you asked me about the retreat, my problems, my financial problems, they were not the same. They were worse.
Yes, because you had just undergone major surgery a few weeks in the hospital after getting this major surgery from this top-notch surgeon too, in one of the best hospitals in the country or in the world.
Correct. With the best, service that you can ever imagine. I had a nurse just for me constantly because I couldn't do anything. I couldn't work, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't produce, obviously. So it was really, really bad, my situation.
Yes.
And then I go to the retreat and I come back from the retreat like completely full of the Holy Spirit, like saying, I don't know how, but I'm gonna pull it through.
Uh-huh.
I know. So here comes the other test. I'm sitting in my office, my little office at home, and I got the bill from the hospital.
Oh boy.
It was a little bit above $1 million. And look, I'm doing my nails right now. I'm like I got nervous just by remembering. And this is the very first time, and I have confessed this, and but I need to share this with y'all. That I told God, I said, "Why are you doing this to me?"
It's only natural to feel that way.
You knew I lost everything. I don't have anything.
Yeah.
I'm down. I can not even know exactly the number, how much I am down.
Yes.
And you put in $1 million on top of this. Why? Why did you do this to me?
$1 million.
So,
wow.
Of course, I didn't pay. And of course, they start saying, okay, I'm going to work with you, the hospital. And they say, okay, we're going to make a reduction. And they make a reduction of 700 and something thousand.
So from $1 million to 700,000.
To me, it was exactly the same thing. I don't have anything.
Yeah.
I don't have it. And they say, okay, you can do very comfortable payments of this outrageous amount. And I'm like, but thank you, but I don't have any.
Yes.
It's just impossible to do it. But little things start coming here and there, business-wise. Little tiny things.
Okay.
And we start surviving and getting this and that. All of a sudden, I remember I was with Nancy Friday afternoon. We go to the mailbox. It's like 5:30 in the afternoon on a Friday. We open the mailbox and there's a letter from the hospital. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't need to see this. It's a Friday. I want to, because every time I open it, it did affect me. Even though I knew I was not going to be able to pay it, it did still affect me.
It's a weight.
Yeah, big time.
Uh-huh.
So I opened it and the letter said that they run some kind of a lotto or some kind of raffle every year.
Okay.
And as a charity, they picked certain accounts,
Uh-huh.
and pay them. And they picked mine and it was paid off in total. So my balance was 0.00. We were in shock, standing right next to the mailbox. And, and again, my human side is like, this is definitely a prank or a joke or
it
something.
Can't be real.
This is not real. It's not true. Of course, we run back home. I call. There's no one at their office.
Because it's Friday after work hours.
I waited the whole weekend. And I prayed. And I talked to my family. I prayed. Monday morning, early in the morning, I called. And then the lady explained what I just told you. She said, this is real. This is what happened. We do this. Your account was picked up. Your balance is 0.00. Congratulations.
From $1 million to 700,000
To nothing.
To nothing.
To nothing.
Wow.
Yeah. So I hung up. Obviously, I cried and I got on my knees and I told God, Thank you. I'm sorry.
You sorry you doubted.
I will try
and
not to doubt ever again. You done all these beautiful things for me, and I still have the audacity to doubt. I'm sorry.
and to question. Yeah.
Yeah. The way he did everything, the way he laid out everything in order for me nothing to happen to me, my recovery, and then on top of that, he paid the tab. There's not enough words to express how blessed I feel and how thankful I am to him. So,
did you feel unworthy?
Yes, but at the same time, it was not me ever again. Something did died in me. A lot of things died in me. A lot of things went down. I can openly say all my bad habits died. All of them died at that moment. At the surgery, when he gave me the next chance, I woke up with a different mentality. I woke up. That was why it was shocking. I was feeling in this inexplicable peace until I got the bill from the hospital. But all those months, I was feeling like I didn't have any problems, and I had big problems. I was feeling so at ease and peace unexplicably. Even my wife was sometimes, of course, she was like saying, what is wrong with you? I mean, how are we going to solve this? And God was sending little touches. Here it is. Here's this little contract. Here's this little equipment. Here's this little thing. People calling me, clients calling me like from years ago. I haven't done anything for them. Hey, they didn't even know about my situation or anything like that. Do this. Here's the
just a little business here and there.
Here's the deposit here, and it was great until I got this letter, and it threw me down. And then here it goes. Hey, it was another blessing. It was another miracle. Here I am. So after that, it's like, I'm here.
How would your attitude have been different if you had not gone to the Acts retreat and you did not have that spiritual renewal? How would your attitude of going through the entire surgery and recovering, how different would it have been?
I would have faced it in a very different way, definitely. I will face it with a lot of anger. Probably I would have died earlier with anger and more of my ex or past macho attitude and things like that. And thanks to this new spiritual life, I was able to face it like that, calm, knowing exactly what I was doing, and right at the end, looking for him. Because at the end, when I was looking for him, see, all this process, I was not feeling afraid for some reason. No, I was not afraid. But when he told me that this is probably the end, it was panic for a few seconds. And that's when I called him. That's when I reached out to him and said, where are you? And he replied immediately. It didn't took him a second or anything. He replied immediately.
Wow.
And I feel like that. I feel like he replies to us immediately at the moment that we call him. But again, you have to do your part. You got to do your part. You have to change. You have to, like this is a good question that you asked me. If I feel the same, definitely not. Something died. After that, I remember in one event that we sang, they asked me to sing that song, "The Hurt and the Healer."
Yes.
And it says beautifully that something died inside of me, but then you grab my heart and blow and give me life back again. That's exactly what he did to me.
Wow.
So I was explained that now I have a mechanical valve. I cannot do this. I cannot do that. I do everything. I was swimming. I was running. I was doing everything.
And they told you wouldn't be able to do that.
I wouldn't be able to do it until whatever, if my system reacts. Some things also, it's helping. It's been helping a lot is because I was young, or I am young for that type of situation.
Usually it's much older people, huh?
At least 10 or 15 years older than me. So I was able to recuperate like very fast. And again, I went to that retreat 3 months afterwards. I came back from the retreat. That client called me and I flew to Miami to take care of some business. I was on a plane 3.5 months after my surgery.
Wow.
It was funny. It's a funny story because I was so excited that I have some business coming in. They made the deposit of the retainer and everything.
Yes.
And I forgot to call my doctor. I didn't know.
To tell him that.
I didn't know if I had permission to. I don't know
fly.
if to fly.
Wow.
So I called the doctor begging him, please say yes. It was funny.
Wow.
But it happened, and it's a beautiful journey. Beautiful journey, full of blessings, full of again, the beautiful reaction of the community is just overwhelmed. It's beautiful.
So your daughter and your sons were all in college?
Yes.
At this point?
No, Vivian was a senior in high school.
Okay, so you're looking at her starting college soon, and you've got 2 boys in college, and you've got this huge finance. Even if that $1 million was paid for, you still have all this to look at. How did you, while you were going through all that, how did you get by financially?
Again, when you start doing your part, God responds, and then he I guess he sees me. Like if I will see my own son reacting or behaving in a certain way, and he's been giving me things here and there.
So the business was bouncing back
a little bit, nothing like before. I have, in all honesty, I have no expectations of any of that. I know something. Most of my professional life has been very successful, and I know that whatever happened to me, it was for a very good reason. I am a completely different person. It's full of blessings. Every time I see my kids, I listen to them. I come to adoration and they're singing and they're adoring. And that's worth more than any success. That is my success. That is worth more than any $1 million or whatever. So I'm doing my part. Of course, I'm doing business here and there. And everything it's going well. It's going well. But something else happened during this time. Everything was going back to normal. Some of my kids graduated. Some of my kids move up in their school.
Yes.
I was able to pull everything in a certain way. We're happy that I'm alive. Everything is going great. Everyone is moving forward. And the pandemic hits, right? And we see all these changes and we're trying to adjust. And all of a sudden, I start feeling sick again, feeling tired.
Okay.
A very strange fatigue. I go to the doctor, of course, because my cardiologist has been like my best friend since I got my surgery. And so I go to my cardiologist and he said, no, it's probably this, probably that. They run all this different type of tests. By now I have insurance. Thank God I have a medical insurance. So they run all this type of tests and I start losing weight and I start losing all this energy. I don't have appetite. I don't have the same strength that I always have because I love to exercise. I really love to jog and to swim. And I wasn't able to do any of this. And one day I was just feeling really bad, and someone recommended me another cardiologist.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, let me go and see this cardiologist, but I already have one.
Yeah.
I go and see this cardiologist. This doctor didn't run any test on me. He just saw me. And he said, if I were you, I will go right now to emergency.
Why?
Emergency room. I think just by the color of your eyes and by the way you look, I think you have an infection.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay. I go home and I'm like, not again, please. Please, no. I was more afraid to go and sit down with Nancy and tell her, I'm like, oh my God.
Here we go again.
Yeah,
right?
Poor Nancy. I'm going to put her again through this. So I go and I said, well, this is what the doctor said. And she's like, well, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay. And she said, but he recommended to go to the emergency room at the place where my valve was replaced.
Okay.
And this is another strange fact. That exact day, it was my second anniversary of my surgery.
Wow.
That exact day. So I go. Of course, they admit me in an emergency. And nobody knows what I have. So they run some cultives, blood cultives. And it happens to be that I had an infection.
Sure enough.
A bacteria.
Wow.
A bacteria somehow got into my bloodstream.
Okay.
And went straight to my valve and sit on top of it.
Wow.
And it created an abscess. So all of a sudden, I landed at the hospital on a Friday night. By Tuesday night, but I know, by Wednesday night, by Wednesday morning, I'm sorry, the doctor, the same surgeon that did this, comes to me and he tells me again, this is really, really bad. This is a very serious situation. So I'm finding out that this is fatal. The bacteria have created an abscess. They already shot me with a lot of antibiotics that it helped stop this terrible process, because it was going to be already dead in a couple of days if I wouldn't go to the hospital.
Okay.
The bacteria tend to go to tissues that are not human tissues.
Okay.
And I have a mechanical valve in the aorta. So this bacteria goes in there, is in a very dangerous place, and they need to perform an emergency surgery again.
Again on your heart.
On my heart. But this time, the probabilities of survival are minimal, because now they need to remove the aorta, the valve, replaced everything, and they don't know if I'm going to make it, because it's a very big surgery. And that's the news that the doctor comes to the room and tell me.
Wow.
And I'm in the hospital by myself because of the COVID regulations. And here I am, 2 years after my 2 miracles, and I'm thinking, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong?
Why again?
I did my part. I'm a new person. I got no bad habits. I'm serving.
Yes.
Taking very good care of my body. I'm working. I'm doing it. What did I do wrong? Sometimes situations like this happen, and when you as human, you just can't comprehend and you can't handle. I was feeling like I was going to go crazy. So they're telling me that probably I'm going to die in a couple of days or in 2 weeks or something. I was so desperate. Then I decided, you know what? Jesus, I trust in you. Jesus, I trust in you. I am just going to, I can't with this. So I put everything under his feet, all my doubts, all my anger, all my anxiety, all my questions.
Yeah.
And I said, here it is. I trust in you. If you want me to go, I'll go.
Wow.
And I went to sleep. The next morning, I woke up with this inexplicable peace. I'm in peace. I am feeling like nothing happened. I feel perfect. I call my wife to console her. I'm like, don't worry. This and that. Obviously, Nancy is like, why did this happen?
Yes.
And I told the doctor, there's a lot of people praying for me, doctor. All my brothers and sisters from the music ministry, all the parishioners from St. Faustina, my brothers and sisters from Acts, my brothers and sisters from the healing ministry. Everybody's praying for me. Praying is powerful.
Yes.
I know I'm going to be okay. Whatever it is, I am going to be okay. Because being okay at that moment, that not necessarily mean that I'm going to survive.
Yes.
It probably means that this is my time and I'm going to go and he's going to take care of me over there. And more than me, he's going to take care of my family here. And I'm going to be in a better place. So my conviction is, I trust in you. We'll do whatever you think is fine. He works again and the doctor comes in the afternoon and he says, I have different news. I have talked to an expert on this type of infections. And it's very strange that you are reacting the way you're reacting. So we're going to put you on this antibiotic treatment for 2 weeks.
Okay.
We're going to let you go. You're going to go home for 2 weeks. And it's all going to depend the way you're going to react on these 2 weeks. Deal? I said, perfect. Let's go.
So we're not going to operate just yet.
Just yet. We're going to see, because you're reacting and that this is out of the ordinary, but let's see what happens.
Okay.
He sends me home. I'm coming home like I'm so happy.
Like there's no chance that you're going to...
I am so happy. I'm like, I'm going to see my wife. I'm going to see my kids. And I'm honestly, I'm very, very happy. And you know me that I'm always very positive and I'm always smiling. I love life. So I'm going home and I'll say, if I have 2 weeks, that's great. I'm going to live these 2 weeks. That was going to be the best 2 weeks of my life. I'm going to do whatever I can. I'm going to exercise a little bit and do everything that I need to do in order to do my part again. I got to do my part. And I had an IV on my arm so they can shoot the antibiotics on it. And so I took my antibiotics and I was getting better and better every day. And so one day we're praying and I received this beautiful phone call. And they were my brothers and sisters from the healing ministry. They call me and they say, hey, Antonio, can we pray over you over the phone? I said, sure. So they start praying. And it was so, so beautiful. And at that moment, even over the phone, I felt the presence of the Holy Spirit so clearly in me. And it gave me the conviction that, hey, don't worry. It's all good. You're gonna heal again.
Wow.
You're gonna be okay again. Well, that day we're praying the chaplet, the Divine Mercy chaplet. On that phone call, Pete, Sally's husband, he told me, hey, Antonio, today at 3:00 in the afternoon, say, Jesus, I trust in you 3 times. And I said, sure. I said, we pray every day the chaplet. But this time I'm going to remember, I'm going to say it,
Yes.
because you told me to.
Yes.
All right. So here is 3:00 in the afternoon. We start playing the Divine Mercy Chaplet. It's sunny, humid, hot, like regular day in Houston.
Yes.
And we're praying next to the window. It's all sunny, all beautiful. We're praying. And right at the end, I clearly remember Pete's voice telling me, say, Jesus, I trust in you 3 times. And I did. But this time, I said, Jesus, I trust in you. And I felt that I said it differently. I said it loud. I said it very strong. I said it with a lot of conviction that I do trust you. I do trust you, Jesus. When I finished saying the 3rd time, and it started raining, it rained so hard for like, I don't know, 45 seconds.
Okay.
And then it stopped. And it remained sunny. And we sat back and we felt the presence of God saying, I am listening to you.
Wow.
I'm listening to you. Don't worry. You're going to heal. So 2 weeks are gone. I go back and then the doctor said, now I'm going to an infectious disease doctor. This is the number 1 doctor in the country for this. An older man, very nice man. And then he said, hey, you want to do something different? Let me put you on a different antibiotics.
Okay.
Not IV. We're going to do orally now.
All right.
I'm going to give you a very aggressive doses. Let's see if your system holds to it, because this is your only chance. You want to take it? I'll take it. Let's do it.
Okay.
So I got another 3 months with that very aggressive. My system starts working fantastic against that. And I'll start getting better and better, and my energy is back, gaining weight again, exercising again. Amazing blessing. And here the time comes to do the test to see if my abscess has been dissolved or at least shrunk.
Yes.
In that morning, I woke up and I told myself, oh my God, look at my life. I'm going to this meeting again with death, right? To see if she's going to leave me alone. And I said, Jesus, I trust in you. I know you're going to dissolve my abscess, right? So I go and they run the test. They put you asleep and they introduce a camera through your mouth, goes through your throat.
Oh, wow.
You go down here and take film and picture of exactly where the valve is.
Okay.
The abscess remains there, the same size. Nothing happened to the abscess.
Okay.
I remember the faces of the nice nurses and everybody in that room. They were all so sad. Thinking, not good news.
Yeah.
Nothing happened to the abscess.
Yeah.
The bacteria lives inside of the abscess. It's still alive.
Yes.
It can come out of the abscess and just take your life.
Yes. Anytime it could burst
just like that. So we come home, and of course that was not the news we wanted to hear.
Yes.
We come home and now it's just Nancy and me talking about, okay, so we're going to take the surgery. We got to schedule the surgery. The following day I had an appointment with the surgeon. We're going to do this. We already know the result. But let's put our trust in Jesus. And let's plan everything that we need to plan. So it's it's difficult to have those type of conversations.
Oh, what's going to happen if it doesn't work out?
Yes. And thank God, again, these blessings have not only been given to me, they've been given to my wife and to my children.
Mm-hmm.
And to the people around me, the people who I'm in touch with, because they can see the presence of God, forgiving His Son and saying, here again, let's do it again. So she's in a better spiritual life or level in order to understand and also believe that we're going to be okay, that we need to trust Him wherever the outcome is.
Now, this is a very different experience from your first one, because the first one, you didn't have time to think about what was going to happen or what could happen or what the odds were that you weren't going to make it. This time, you've got the time to think about it. You've got the time to dwell on it and talk with your wife. Okay, odds are I'm not going to survive this. This is what we have to plan.
Exactly.
And you've got that peace in you now.
Yes. So the following day, we'll go to the meeting with the surgeon, right?
Okay.
This time I wake up so happy. And I said, Jesus, I trust in you. But this time I didn't make a wish list. I said, no wish list.
Uh-huh.
Whatever is in front of me, we'll do it, Jesus. I'll trust in you. I trust you. We'll take it. So we go to this meeting, this doctor's appointment, and we're sitting at his office, and then the doctor comes in, and then he says, I am not going to do anything to you. Look at the way you look. You look great.
Uh-huh.
You're reacting. I'm not gonna do surgery to you. We're gonna see how you react. But I have a good feeling. I've seen your reports. I've seen the result of the test.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go overboard right now to tell you something that I might regret. But for now, let's just wait.
Okay.
Let's just wait. Wait for the holidays, and then we'll talk. And I said, what did that mean? That means that you can go home, and then we'll talk. Okay. So I go home, and I'm like, well, this is great.
Uh-huh.
So we go to church, to the temple to give thanks, right? And I'm kneeling saying, thank you, God. Thank you for all of this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then I felt, well, that's great that you're giving thanks, but I don't think thank you, it's enough.
Uh-huh.
You have to do something. You got to serve me. You find something to serve me better. Find your plan. Why did I left you here? Why?
Mm-hmm.
What is your purpose here? So I get out of that place so full of, I know exactly what I need to do. I'm going to pursue it.
Uh-huh.
And continue with this very aggressive doses of antibiotics to see if I can survive or not.
Okay.
Here we go again. 6 months later, or 3 months later, I'm sorry, they run the test again on me. This time, the doctor and the nurses, they're different. They're like, you know what? The abscess is the same, but we don't see movement in there.
Okay.
I said, okay, great, thank you. So I go to the infectious disease doctor, and he said, I don't supposed to tell you that you're off the hook, but you're off the hook.
Really?
I think that thing that you have in there is dead. I don't think your bacteria is alive. You can go home and do your life. You just can go home. So I'm like, are you serious? Yeah. So I got a phone call from the surgeon, and he said, I don't know how you made this, but you can go home.
Wow.
You don't need to see me in 3 months or in 6 months, or I hope you don't see me ever again.
Wow.
And here I am talking to you.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. Everything you've been through.
Yes.
Going bankrupt, then going to the Acts retreat.
Yes.
Even though you were pushed into it. Coming out a new man. And then having train after train hit you.
Yes.
With your heart. And then the miracle of you not just surviving, but surviving financially as well.
Yes.
With the $1 million debt that was forgiven.
Yes.
And you thought everything was fine. And you get hit again. Yes. With another train.
Yes.
In the middle of a pandemic.
Yes.
And you came out of it. It's amazing.
All the glory to him. It's all because of him. I am here sitting in front of you, talking to you because of him. I know I'm a walking miracle. I know it. But I'm here because I need to tell you and tell everybody that he does exist. He exists. And he allowed me to be here. And it's so beautiful. Every time I have the opportunity to serve on the healing masses, it's another encounter with him, telling him, thank you. Heal all these people too. All these people that are here, heal them. Because he does. He is the healer. I am here. I can tell you firsthand. It's true.
What advice do you have to somebody who may be feeling down in the dumps, who may be feeling like the weight of the world is on their shoulders and it's just too much for them to bear? What advice do you have to give to them?
Like in my case, when you stopped trying to do all by yourself, trying to solve the problem on your terms and just by yourself, and you don't include God, you're gonna make your journey extremely difficult. If you include God, you let him drive, because at the end, everything is gonna happen regardless of whatever you do. If he's guiding, and if you do your part, you're gonna see the blessings like a rain of blessings coming on you. When you allowed God to be in your life, when you allow him to guide. And again, when you do your part, you gotta do your part. You gotta be obedient. I feel that connection with Saint Joseph, and I see him and I admire him, his obedience. And the other thing is the trust. I feel that my ticket to the eternal life and the bag has the word trust. I have to trust. Me, I don't have an excuse. Me, I don't have an excuse.
You've been hit with it enough times for you to get the message, huh?
Yes.
Do you think it's difficult for people to do all that you just explained, to admit that you can't do it alone, to trust in God, and to believe that you're not in control?
I don't think it's difficult. I think we make it so difficult. I think that we humans make it difficult. It's not difficult. It's, like animals trust their owners. Mm-hmm. Kids trust their parents. Uh-huh. How can you not trust God? And maybe we said, yeah, we trust in him, but we always want to interfere, and our stubbornness doesn't allow us to do it. I was blessed to be hit like that. I mean, he knew he needed to put me on a bed, tied me, tube me, in order for me to say, okay, you're right. It's you. Let's do it. But again, I have been obedient. I have shown my trust, mm-hmm. and he has blessed me with this unstoppable continuous rain of blessings because of my reaction of trust. And when I say trust, again, it's whatever his will is, might be. If that will happens to be that is same with mine, fantastic. If not, he'll know why. And at the moment I made those decisions, he hit me with that beautiful peace, unexplicable peace. Never felt that peace in my life. And that's why I walk like that. That's why I woke up like that. I wake up every day so happy, so happy, knowing that my God is keep on blessing me and that he has a big plan for me down here.
Thank you so much, Antonio, for sharing your incredible story of conversion and survival and trusting in the Lord. I hope to see you again soon at the next Acts retreat.
Definitely.
And of course, we hope to see you at more and more masses, you and your family sharing your wonderful talents with our community.
Definitely. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much for allowing me to share my story, to tell people again to trust in him, to be obedient, and to know and understand that he does exist. Thank you, Rudy.
Thank you. The pleasure is all ours.